Welcome to GEPL Capital's Market Outlook video. I'm Sanket Bendre from the Fundamental Research team, and in this video, we will be discussing certain updates that happened over the last few weeks, as well as about the inflation data of the India. So let me share my screen, and we will start the video right away. So I hope my screen is visible now. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the first slide, and in this slide, we will be discussing about some of the key updates that happened over the last few weeks, as well as in the prior week. The first will be the US Fed in its October meet reduced the benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points, bringing it down to 3.75% to 4%. However, Fed Chair Mr. Jerome Powell had struck a cautious note that the economic outlook and the future rate cuts possibility. So Mr. Jerome Powell has mentioned that due to the unavailability of the data for the US economics, so they might have to delay the further future rate cuts for the month of December. So as a result of that, we might see some delays in the interest rate cut for the upcoming months. The next key update will be from SEBI. So SEBI has proposed a sharply reduction in the brokerage and transaction cost of certain mutual funds in a pursuit to increase the transparency and lower the cost burden on retail investors. So currently, mutual funds are charging up to 12 basis points for cash transactions and 50 basis points for derivative trades. However, SEBI has suggested reducing these limits to 2 basis points and 1 basis point respectively. So post this announcement, we saw that most of the AMC companies stock, including HDFC AMC, Nippon AMC, as well as other capital market stocks, had fell due to this impact, given their profitability could be impacted. And Jeffries, in one of the note, has mentioned that their profitability could be impacted by 30 to 35%. So overall, this was a key negative impact on the AMCs. In this week, we saw this update from SEBI. So this decision is yet pending, and this SEBI has just proposed this announcement. We need to see for the future developments and need to track this development, given this will be a key for most of the AMC companies. The next key update will be from China, as China has started issuing licenses for rare earth metal exports to Indian companies after it had imposed restrictions on export more than 6 months back. So this development will be a relief for most of the auto as well as electronic sector companies, especially the companies that are manufacturing electric vehicles. So over the last few months, we have seen commentaries from most of the auto companies that due to the unavailability of rare earth metals, the manufacturing of EV was delayed. However, this will be a relief for most major EV companies, as now the import will be more easy given China has issued these licenses for the export. So this development comes after the one-year trade truce that happened between China and US, which includes an understanding on rare earth supplies between the Washington and China. And this has eased the situation further as additional export curbs have been put off. On the next key update, this is on the tariff side. So on Wednesday, Donald Trump indicated that a deal between US and China during his address at the Asia Pacific Conference in South Korea. So we are seeing some positive updates on the India and US trade deals, and we should see some developments in the upcoming weeks or months, I would say by the end of November or December. So after this, further, we also saw that US had reduced tariffs on China by 10%, taking the tariff level to 47% from the previous of 57%. So all in all, a positive update we are seeing on the tariff side from the US for India, for Asian countries as a whole. So in this next slide, we are seeing the inflation data over the last few months. I would say this is for the 1 year data and on month basis. So the first chart is for the WPI, that is a wholesale price index, and the next will be consumer price index inflation. So within the WPI index, we are seeing that in the month of October 2024, it was at 2.8%, which declined to approximately 2.5% in the month of Jan 2025, which further declined to hefty decline in the month of April 2025 to 0.959%, which turned negative in June 2025 to minus 0.2%, which was not very feasible, and it reversed in the month of August to 0.5%, and in the month of September it cooled off to 0.15%. So overall, within the WPI index, we are seeing inflation in manufactured products, primary articles, fuel and power, which stood at 2.3%, negative 3.3% for the primary articles, and fuel and power stood at 2.6% on a YOY basis in the month of September. So overall, we are seeing this cool off in the WPI wholesale price index inflation over the last few months. The next key update will be on the CPI, that the consumer price index inflation. So if we see a very good decline, we are seen over the last 12 months from 6.2% in the month of October 2024 to 1.5% to in the month of September 2025. So overall, a very positive set of inflation data, and this further boosted the RBI's confidence in the Indian economy. As a result of that, we saw the cut down in repo rates also. So if you see within the in the month of September, the inflation is at the lowest year-on-year inflation after June 2027, and it is also lower than the inflation rate of 4.05% for the month of August 2025. So again, this one below 2% target is still is not feasible, and we should see it to reverse to 2 to 2.5% in the upcoming months, given food inflation is also moving on an uptrend. So this inflation data should continue to move in this range over the next few months, and should see an uptick in the next year, given the lower base in the month in the year of 2025. So all in all, inflation data has cooled off in India overall, and we have seen that RBI has also reduced the repo rates, which should further boost the economy, and we might see a certain impact on the inflation data also in the upcoming month, as the inflation might turn slightly on the upward side, given lower interest rate might boost the consumptions in the Indian economy. So overall, we should see some further neutral to positive set of updates on the inflation data, and also RBI repo rate cuts. We might see in the next fiscal year, that in the next year, that is 2026, RBI is making. So I guess this is further, I would say this is the results here, and most of the companies are posting a good set of results, positive set of results, I would say. Some are posting negative, some are posting good, but all in all, a positive set of results we are seeing on the result side for most of the companies, especially in the large cap companies, are posting a positive set of results, including Reliance Industries, Larsen and Toubro, HDFC Banks. They have posted a good set of results for the second quarter of FY 2026. So we need to keep watch on these companies given the result season will give us a direction of where exactly we should look into and which sectors to move on for an investment purpose. So I guess that's all for today, and thank you for everyone for watching this video, and do like, share and subscribe GEPL Capital's YouTube channel. Thank you.